My name is Roger Gallegos from Beacon Marketing. This is Beacons in the 505 by Beacon Marketing. I am here today with Tayloria Grant from One Full Life International, LLC. Tayloria, welcome to this video. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks so much, Roger, for having me as well in Beacon Marketing.
I appreciate you taking the time. Now, before we get into you and what you do, I want to give our viewers and our listeners a little bit of why we're doing these videos. We're doing these videos because I want to do something to help showcase and build awareness for local small businesses, solopreneurs, the people who are out there doing the work, especially during this time of the pandemic. We are still out here. We're still kicking butt. We're still doing a lot of things. And I'm a firm believer that it's going to be us that gets us through this pandemic. And it's us that's going to be helping build the community and build the economy as we move past that. So these videos are to bring awareness about what everyone's doing in the small business community. So thank you so much, Tayloria, for helping me spread that word. So before, now that we got that out of the way, let's jump into what is your business? What do you do for our community?
Yes, and so as you mentioned, my company's name, One Full Life. In the big scheme of things, I do a lot around professional as well as personal growth, but my specialty is really helping solopreneurs, coaches, and professionals unlock their gifts or potentials and really master their message. For me, Roger, I really believe that our voice is one of the most powerful tools. We're born with a voice, we're able to share, and your content is one way to be able to amplify that. And so working with local business owners, we're able to really tap into what makes them unique from their competition and ultimately grow their business.
That's amazing. Now, I see, because at the beginning, before we do this, I always like having our guests fill out a short questionnaire so I know a little bit about the client. So who is your ideal client? Like, who are the people that you feel you work best with and that could benefit the most from what you do?
Yes, most of my clients, particularly here in the Albuquerque area, they are either solo entrepreneurs, but on the bigger scheme of things, many of the things they're coming to me saying is, how do I get more visibility? How do I attract the right client or high paying clients? How do I use, things like social media and Facebook or even digital marketing to get to basically grow my business? Those are a lot of the questions that I get. So when that person comes, we're really able to look at what are they doing well, who are they really trying to attract, and ultimately how can we craft that message to put out, to get them out there in the marketplace.
What do you usually see that people struggle with? Like, if someone is just, they say like, I've been doing this for 9 months now and it seems like I'm stuck in the mud and I don't know. Which as a marketer myself, I have my own ideas about this. This is like something when I meet with other marketers and people who do what I do, I always like have this question, because I think we're all, always see the smile that you have is like, oh, I could tell some stories. But what is something that you feel that a lot of small businesses or solopreneurs that they either are doing or aren't doing that is limiting their visibility?
Yes, and I think it's a really good question. For me, it's even taking, I think, a step back to say, what is branding? Because with that, I think there's sometimes that confusion of what is branding, what is marketing. A lot of times entrepreneurs say, oh, I have a website, I have a logo, and I'm not getting any clients. Well, first, your brand is more than your logo. Some of the simple ways I like to even talk about that is, when we look at your brand, what is branding? It's really like, whether it's a company or a person, who you are, your purpose, your mission, your values, ultimately like your strategy. Where marketing, you need that as well. Marketing is going to be the how, the tactical goals, to really propel that strategy and that message. So when I have entrepreneurs coming to, oh, I need more visibility, have we even looked at who are you trying to reach? What are you they may know what they're, of course, what they're selling, but taking that step back to really look at the foundational pieces. That, to me, that's a huge part, because you're building upon that. It makes your job easier
Yeah.
as well, because when we're looking at, really any of those things, how are we going to use those tools? What are we really putting out there, and to who are we putting that message out there? So, it's not I like to say maybe a magic bullet, but it can be a lot magical. It can be magical if you still take a step back to really look at those foundational pieces. Let's put a strategy and a plan together. But it isn't like a one size fits all, if that makes sense, Roger.
No, it definitely does. And in my business, for when I work with clients, I always say, I focus on the development of strategies. I always say you need a customized approach, because even though
So true.
you have competitors that do something similar to what you're doing, you do it a specific way. You do it a different way. There's
Yes.
something that makes you unique, and you have to tap into that. And one of that, you can tell that I believe that, because one of the questions I put in the survey was, what makes your business unique? And I knew I was going to have a good conversation with you, because of all the people I've had who responded to this that I have booked for interviews. Your answer was the longest for this one. I was kind of comparing just to see what makes your
Yes.
business unique. And so I want to give you that opportunity to share your answer, to say what, to
Yes.
kind of give people, so you can let people know what makes you unique, but also to give people an example of what it is to think about that uniqueness. Because I think people say, oh,
I
well,
like
I do
that.
this, or we do great customer service. Well, everyone says that, but you have to go a little deeper and say, what is the differentiator? What are they going to get from you that's going to make them go the extra block or spend the extra $25, wherever it may be? Because if you can't do that, if you can't define
Yes.
that, then you're not doing your job as a marketer. So why don't you tell our audience what makes you unique, so they can kind of get a feel for that?
No, I really like that. I, chuckled as far as the long answer, because this is a big piece of what I do, particularly when it comes to personal branding. For me, one of the traits I really look at that separates me too is, and you hit on this already, is applying really that, I say, exceptional customer service, because my approach is really personalized, very holistic, because I don't believe there's a one size fits all. With my background, I have 20, I'm dating myself, over 25 years of experience in as a marketing communications professional. But with that, my early part of my career was in public relations, when we really look at more of the organic content and what we like to say maybe is free, where the second part of my career was more in the marketing, more of that paid portion. So for me, a lot of it is looking at the person as a whole, really that mind, body, spirit, because ultimately I address a lot of other things, like even confidence, gaining clarity, and even consistency, time managed productivity, because all of that comes together in order to leverage your message and to ultimately accomplish your goals. I love helping turn those dreams into reality. And so we have some real talks, my clients and I, when it comes to what do they really want in life. Back to my company, One Full Life, I believe it's not just about the money. That's not why most of us are doing this. Yes, we need it to survive, but even that, it's to accomplish those goals in life that we really want. When you asked about an example as well, as far as differentiating myself in some client pieces, yes, I work locally. I also work internationally. And a big piece for me is I love to travel. Most people know I love Italy. I speak Italian. It's my second home. And so with that, a lot of the clients that come to me, they're already high achievers, but a lot of them also love to travel. And so I've been able to work and say, okay, this is a piece that you want in your business. Yes, you like to do things locally, but how can we incorporate that? And so I've been able to help design programs, whether that's a month, a once a year retreat and things such as that, to help them ultimately still have more of that work-life balance, still pursuing their passion, making money, but ultimately making an impact in this world.
I love that answer, and I think it speaks a lot to who you are and to how people can see themselves benefiting from your service. I think that's one
Yeah.
of the keys to market that people don't really understand at times is the purpose of marketing is you want to put your audience in a position where they could see themselves benefiting from the service or product that you're offering. So just
So
even as a
true.
marketer, as I was listening to you, I was kind of in the back of my mind, I was going through like, well, how can I define this and how can I define that? And so you could see that. So I think it really speaks to you. As you said, not to date yourself again, but you have over 20 years of experience. We won't go into, it's not the details. We're not
Yes,
trying to out
I
anyone
think
here.
you
We're not
asked
going to
the
details.
years.
We want to, so you obviously love what you're doing, and
I
you've
do.
been in business for yourself for several years now. So why do you do it? What keeps you going? Because I want I want our audience to understand your passion, so they see that they're not just hiring a name, they're not just hiring a business.
Yes.
They're, in my opinion, hiring a partner.
And that's the
So
thing. I love being that supportive partner. For me, a big piece, why do I do the work I do? What am I passionate about and why do I love this? For me, what has been so satisfying and gratifying is seeing the transformation. Many of the entrepreneurs I've worked with, they have some fears. They have some fears as well as many of us. We have those. They've accomplished a lot, but they still need like those tools to move to the next stage to accomplish even bigger goals. And so being able to be that supportive partner and help to give them more clarity, help to show the gifts that they do have and unlock that potential. And ultimately, when they call me or email me or text me and say, Tay, for, I doubled my, doubled my Instagram following, or I got my first client. Even on the other side with my professionals, I've had hundreds of clients, land their dream job. Those are things that make it really worthwhile. It makes me get up. I had a client at 7 a.m. this morning in Italy. I love what I do because I love seeing the outcome, the results. And from that too, I've gained friends through worldwide. So it makes it, I don't know, I love being able to say, you can do this too. You can do this too. And the results show they can do it.
Lori, I feel like we'll be saying this a lot throughout the series. I could honestly, particularly since you're in marketing, I could
Yes.
go on for hours upon hours and take up your whole day, but you're busy. So we're going to have to
Yes.
wrap this up. But I have two more questions for you. First is, knowing what you know now, if you could take a time machine and tell a younger version of yourself some advice, what would that advice be?
I would say a couple of things that come to mind really quick is believe in your vision. Do not doubt yourself. If that's something that you feel compelled to do, it's not by coincidence, it's not by happen chance. And also, don't be afraid to take more risk. That's something I feel in life, don't let that self-doubt get in the way. Go ahead and move forward. And then lastly, get the tools that you need. Those would be a few of my things that I would just say to leave. Believe in your vision, take more risk, and get the tools you need to move forward and ultimately make your dreams become a reality.
I absolutely love that. I think that's some great advice. Now, before we end here with you sharing where people can learn more about you, I do want to share another one of the impetuses for starting this series. In particular, was started with members, and you're a member of the African American Chamber of Commerce, and that's who is partnering with me to help produce these videos.
Yes.
Was the murder of George Floyd and the subsequent protests. And I wanted, I myself am Hispanic, my daughter is Hispanic. I want to raise her in a world that is less racist, that has less hate out there. And so I wanted to give you this opportunity to speak out on that, to share some thoughts that you might have on how we can create a more inclusive and a world with less hate.
Now, I appreciate the opportunity as well as this type of partnership. I really believe, it has, of course, been unfortunate to see in these last months everything that's happened. And we know as America, so many beautiful things, but we also have a history. So for me, I appreciate, and I've had friends of different ethnicities come to me to ask, what can they do? Things I feel like, Roger, even today is opening up the dialogue, up the dialogue to address that we have work to do. There's always room for improvement, but also looking at, in so many ways, we are alike. We're more alike than we really are different. And I think when we start to have those dialogues, we start to acknowledge and address, we can ultimately have, a better world, a better nation, a better place for your daughter, my children, and everyone. So that's just, I think, a piece of it. I feel like it's going to take everyone. Yes, the Black community, yes, is doing certain things, but again, we're American when it boils down to it. When it all comes down to it, what can we do together to be more united? I feel like talking to many of my clients, throughout the world, we have so much to offer, so many different type of ethnicities. If we even wanted to just talk about food, um, like, come on, I think all of us, whether you're an Italian or Chinese or Mexican, but I'm making a little light, but on a serious note, just to say, yes, we have differences, but those differences, again, back to even branding, their strengths, their gifts, how can we utilize those, respect them, and ultimately leverage them? So I appreciate, like you say, I'm having the opportunity to share a little bit. I'm encouraged, I'm optimistic. Just like branding, it doesn't happen overnight, but the good thing is it can happen, change can happen, and transformation. And so having this opportunity to just have some open dialogue, and everyone is making a difference. I mean, like, there's nothing so small. I just want people to know you can make a difference.
I love what you said there, and I know I don't want to make too light of what you said because it is. But what the two things I always say to help bring people together, it's food,
Yes.
and my wife who is Jewish, and we always compare like her older relatives with my older relatives, and she has a couple friends of other ethnicities, and they talk too. And so I think it's food, and I think it's the older women. I think older women in all cultures are the same. They gossip, they'll trash you when they feel like it, they'll judge
Like that
you.
mother type, exactly.
So I think if you look at that older women in all cultures and food, if you look at those bring us together. And again, I don't want, like you said, I don't want to make light of that, but I do want to echo that and saying, this is an important time for us, and these conversations are going to be tough, but
Yes.
nothing ever worthwhile is easy. And if
I
we can
agree.
get through these conversations, there's a much better future for all of us, and especially our children. And that's what I want to focus on. So thank you so much for sharing your
Thank
thoughts
you.
on that. Once again, thank you for letting us know about your business. I think you have a wonderful business here. You sound amazing at what you do, and I look forward to hearing more about you. Before I let you go, can you let our audience know how they can learn more about you and contact you if they have any questions?
Yes, no, I would love to connect. I actually offer a complimentary clarity session. You can visit onefulllife.com. That's one FULLLIFE.com. And if you are on social media, Facebook or Instagram, you can find me on One Full Life or Tayloria Grant. So I look forward to connecting.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you, listeners and viewers. We'll be back with more video. Tayloria, thank you so much for your time, and everyone have a great day. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.